So essentially, when I go online and I go into Google, I'm looking for websites. Part of what will come up is the sort of brands that were going to resonate with me from a moral perspective. Things will come to me. I won't be searching for them.
The way we work is we work on site. So, that would be if Google was to implement something like that.
Yeah.
And they probably already do to some extent. But for us, it's more like once you're on, say, let's go, you're on Baby Bunting or you're on The Good Guys or Catch or whatever it is, and it's then the site itself is then understanding all this.
Yeah.
And it's saying, hey, Beverly, because of X, Y, and Z, or because of your love for equal rights, or, we know that you visited this, or whatever it may be, check out some of these brands or some of these clothes because we think it would be really suitable for you. That whole really just getting deep and understanding. But I think something that I'm big on is it needs to be to a level where the consumer has the ability to control it. So half the websites you go on, like they know what coffee you had in the morning, but you wouldn't know that they're personalized for you because it's all done behind the scenes, and you have no ability to know or control, and they don't tell you. So I think where I think it's going to go is like the consumer has the control, the personalization, and the brands basically allow that enablement. So Beverly can go, you know what, this is who I am, or this is what I like, or whatever it may be. So what I see is right for me, not what your bias algorithm told me, for example.
That's really going to change the way that buyers and merchandise planners operate, isn't it? Because you're going to get, it's that whole push and pull. Instead of, I'm going to pull product toward me based on my preferences as opposed to having things pushed at me. That seems to be what you're saying, that the change is going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a simple example, like I go on, say, JB Hi-Fi, and I spend like a good amount of time looking at 30 grand TVs. Because hopefully one day when Preezie gets purchased by Google, I can buy a 30 grand TV. But right now, I cannot buy a 30 grand TV. Like, there is no way I can't even buy a 3 grand TV. Maybe I'll buy a $300 TV. But like the system, before I purchased would assume that I'm in that like high net worth bracket where clearly like I'm not. So there's just this general, I think, disconnect between, a lot of systems. A lot of people go, oh, the way you browse can tell you a lot, but people go, oh, you spend time on these pages, you want that. I think it's a bad way to look at it. Like if you browse quick, you are a certain type of person. For example, let's call it impulse buyer or a more calculated buyer if you browse slowly. So calculated people typically buy these types of products. Not saying, you look at 10 grand TV, so most likely going to buy a 10 grand TV.
And it's a whole new world, isn't it? I like the idea of linking, the consumer behavior with the whole IT thing and the algorithms that is actually going to really help us and help businesses. Because the other thing, of course, is that if we're able to really understand what customers are looking for, we'll make less bad decisions, and so we'll get rid of these shops and shops and shops full of stuff that actually nobody wants. That is, from a sustainability point of view, that's a real waste of resources to produce things that actually people think we might need, but we want, but actually we don't want. So actually, and if you think about the Gen Zs, they're really into sustainability, they're really into the environment, and actually having AI say, don't go down, buyers, don't be buying this stuff. This is what the customer wants, and these are the people who are going to buy this stuff. These are the people who are going to buy this stuff. You can quantify it, and you're actually going to be much more accurate. So it's less wastage for the whole of society.
Yeah. I mean, sizing is a great one. So we work with a few bra businesses, in particular like Curvy, and I know that generally speaking, they suggest that 80% of women wear the wrong bra size.
Yeah.
And I can't say publicly, but we all know that a lot of these brands like ASOS and whatnot have these huge return rates because their incentive is just buy. Some people I know, they buy 4 sizes and then they just return. And it's like, where is the incentive to actually go like get it right, get the CX. So we do like, sizing calculators, but what do you think you are? How does it fit? Let me tell you what we think you are. Drop those return rates, less shipping, less transportation, less pollution, less packaging, less transfer of funds, less fees, everything.
More profit.
Yeah,
Which,
that's right.
it's a win-win, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
That's been really interesting to learn more about Preezie. The whole AI thing is fascinating, and I can't say that I'm someone who really, really understands it at all, but I'm incredibly interested in it and curious. So I want to just ask both of you, really, that if you were starting your careers today, what would be your advice to somebody who's really just starting out and thinking, what am I going to do? Where's my big idea going to come from, or what am I going to be doing for my career? What's your advice?
I suppose if I'm talking about the retail and tech space, which is what we're in, I think it's just a level of, you need to be forward thinking and not what is happening now or what it is. You need to be forward thinking on how consumers need to behave and react and where things are heading. I mean, one of the parts with our business, why we're getting such a high level of traction with retailers is because, existing websites, the way consumers are shopping, it's the same. You could go to one website, a million websites, categories across the pages, maybe some filters to help with, maybe this search bar. So there needs to be, in any entrepreneur that's thinking about, coming up with something, it needs to be forward thinking. It needs to be helping, not what the current situation is, but forward think on where retail needs to be. And some of the times, there's a catch up on retail getting up to speed of where things are at. But if you do it right, I suppose, you've got the concept and you can put it in practice, and you've got some retailers that are able to work with you, then it becomes a building block phase. So it's certainly think ahead, not think of the here and now. And sometimes the challenge is to get the market space to that thing. And look, there's an element for our business where COVID certainly was the shot in the arm. It was the nitrogen. It was the thing, because a lot of retailers, there was no luxury of sitting on their hands and going, hey, we've got physical stores or we've got omni-channel, no worries. These plans for e-com, they're coming. Yeah. A lot of the brands we're working with, that got accelerated so fast. And so, look, there needs to be items that has shot in the arm, but there is, from my perspective, you need to be forward thinking about the ideas, the concepts.
I think from my point of view, Beverly, I think there's a couple of things. Let's just say, just normal career in this kind of space. I think getting an idea or understanding a bit more of the technical on how to think. Now, and I don't mean like go out there and be a software developer. I mean, that's a great choice, by the way. They're in demand. If you know any front-end developers, tell me. We're looking. So I think it's more about how to think. And I think, not doing little things like engineering puzzles or whatnot, it helps you identify how to think about a problem. So it's not just, oh, hey, there is something here, but like, how would I do what's the block diagram? What's the flow chart? What are like the functional steps in order to go like, hey, there's a problem over here on the left. Is there a solution? So I think it's more of a, just conceptual thinking, and obviously a lot of technical things can help. So things like engineering, software development, it can help you think about problems. And then I think from there, it's, if you want to get into the, like, I guess, entrepreneurship stuff, you need to have a problem. You actually need a problem that you understand and you believe in. Because like I can tell you now, like we're doing well now, we're growing well, we're raising and all this stuff, and it looks all pretty, but it's so brutal at so many points. If this was, say, an idea that someone else thought of, and I just ran with it and I didn't understand it, didn't believe in it, I can tell you now, hands down, like Kwok and I probably both would have left 10 times over. Yeah. So there's an element of doing this stuff, unless you're super lucky or born into wealth or whatnot, is so hard. In my opinion, you really need to believe in the problem And the only way you do that, I guess, is if you've personally experienced it.
There's two things there that I think I'm picking up from you. One is that you need to be able to find something where you're solving the need or a problem that the consumer has. And the second thing is you need to be tenacious because it's bloody hard.
Yeah.
And just touching on that point, Beverly, I mean, obviously Michael worked with the good guys. He experienced what helping customers firsthand was, and showing them an LG to a Samsung or whatnot. From my perspective, and why I love and bought into the idea and concept is just the user experience of being a shopper on websites, on these websites, and being just frustrated and just being like, there's no product that matches. It's just the whole user experience. And that's where I came at from a user experience perspective, going, there's bloody better way and a much more seamless way of helping me, a consumer, buying a t-shirt, jeans, shoes, whatever, than what is the status quo. And we're obsessed in our own ways, but we were obsessed in trying to solve that problem. This is where some founders are just a bit wacky, like hopefully Michael and I are more normal wacky, but we obsess over the problem that we've got, and we're always trying to improve the product. And there are times even when we talk to our brands that we work with, the retail partners, to the extent where we listen to what they want to solve, and sometimes what we often do or adapt our tech roadmap, because what Michael and I think is good for the world may be completely different to what a Baby Bunting, a Lorna Jane, a Bevel's, a thing. They've got real life problems and real things, and we certainly listen and learn and adapt as a result of. And look, the dynamics are always changing for our business because there's focus on this and focus on that. And that's, as a business and founders, for Michael and I, we don't have a yellow brick road that goes a certain path.
Yeah.
It does wind down the way.
Well, listen, guys, thank you very much for your time today. It's been absolutely fascinating, and it was really good of you to spare the time.
Thank you very much, Beverly. It's been a pleasure.
Beverly. Appreciate it.